Hey guys, so today we are with the 11th episode of Secret Dreams. I'm here with Enrico, and I'm gonna let him the space here to speak more about himself. But welcome Enrico here to the conversation first.
Glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes, thank you. And I want to before we go to Enrico and speak to him, to actually share a little bit about myself and Secret Dreams. So, first of all, I'm a leadership and executive coach, helping leaders to master themselves, to inspire mastery all around them, helping people to really go deeper in themselves and align themselves with what is important for them and start pursuing it in their life. And out of my coaching practice actually came this idea of creating Secret Dreams and talking to people how they actually are going after their dreams, how they are connecting with their dreams, and what is staying on the way or was staying on the way to pursue them. Today, I have someone who I would say that it's one of the most dedicated people I see, and I know him for more than a year. I think year and some 1 month or something like that. And we had a very several conversations every single month, and we speak about mainly the project we are together starting, which is connected to IT leaders, and with his great expertise in IT leadership and my in leadership, we want to create something really is going to be very useful for the challenges of leaders there. Um, but one of the things which I definitely know about you and see about you, Enrico, that it's called humility. You are a very successful person, being successful in this area of IT area and in leadership there. But if a person talks to you, cannot actually get that from the conversation because you're a very down to earth person, and I really appreciate that about you. And also another word which comes to me is authenticity. You're a very authentic person and a person who you can really speak to, and you feel like allowed to be yourself. And as you are yourself, you're allowing other people to be like that, which actually is a great quality and an inspiration for me. And progress is another word which comes in mind, because always you try to progress, to be flexible, to find different ways to do things, to find different partnerships to expand and stuff, which is really also inspiring for me. So I'm not gonna give you the words right now to share a little bit about who you are, share about your story, and yeah, let's start inspiring people with you.
Okay. So, um, where to start? Let me start where I was born. This was in Eastern Germany at the time where there was still communism.
Yeah.
So, a lot of things that I have achieved now and that I'm now living in Switzerland and so on was basically not imaginable. So, you are in this country. There are some rules and restrictions. We could see part of Western Germany from one of the higher mountains nearby, but we believed we need to be retired to be allowed to go there. Um, so this was basically my starting point, and I was also raised up in an environment where we had a very critical opinion about communism and the state and so on. And then you have also to learn how to deal with it, what you can say in school and what better not, and stuff like this. But luckily enough for me, when I was 15, then the political change came. So unlike a lot of other people in my age, a little bit older, I did not suffer from this. So I did not learn a profession that was then obsolete afterwards. I was basically in a age where I could also join um, school in Western Germany, which was just 10 kilometers away, and then learn to it was for me a totally different culture. So except the language, everything was different. And for me, it was very important. And another thing was obviously we did not learn proper English in school, so this was also one of the challenges. Then to learn English, to understand a little bit more about the things that were important in Western Germany and stuff like this. I came then to Switzerland in 1999 because I wanted to do an internship during my studies. I was studying business information management, and I said, okay, I want to be at least half a year abroad, and it came out now. It's already the 24th year of this, because I liked the country. I had then the opportunity to do my PhD at St. Gallen University, which was a very cool environment because it was not the typical university where you sit in a university library and just studying books and try to write something together. But we had a setup where we worked from very beginning with companies, which was interesting, but also challenging because you got quite direct feedback in a sense. Great ideas, but what does it help us? And we have other problems and things like this. So, but for me, it was very beneficial because it was then not the academic ivory tower, but from the very beginning. And this is also something that is energizing me to understand where potentials, where can you change something. And the means that I can master is everything that is related to digital tools and stuff like this. And this is basically what became then also my profession.
Wow.
So, and at the moment, I have a small consultancy company focusing on exactly the two topics, digitization and IT management. I've been before, obviously, in big corporates, was, for instance, responsible at Schindler in driving the digitization. So we were the first to start to equip service technicians with iPhones and all this process and changing the way service was done at Schindler and stuff like this. It was very interesting. But after a while, I felt it's time for me to do something on my own, also to expose myself to other industries, to learn there, but also to bring my experience there. And this is actually what I love and what also energizes me every week again. And I think that's very important for the professional life, that you have something that is energizing you. It will not energize you every day, and you will also have a lot of troubles and so on. But if you don't have a kind of basis that is energizing you, then you have the risk of getting burnt out or disillusionated and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm interested in several places in your story. Thank you for sharing the story. It seems to me that there are several transitions in your life. So the first one is, of course, going from East to West Germany, then to going through West Germany to Switzerland, and then staying there. It's transition by itself because you decided to stay there. And then, of course, you transition from the corporate to entrepreneurial world. Which of these transitions was harder and why?
Difficult to say. I think changing from corporate to entrepreneurial was the one I thought most about it. Because also corporate was a great thing and also a lot of achievements. And then you ask yourself, does it make sense to start something new? For the others, it was more like a natural process, and where you have also the feeling you need to do something new. And the last one was more one of conscious change in life, with risks that you know before, and then I said, you ask yourself often enough, is it worth taking the risk? Should I not stay where I am? It was successful. So these are then, that's why I would say this was the one I thought most about it. The others happened. It happened also in a way that, let's say, from my heart, I wanted also to have this change.
And why do you think you took the change then? Because yes, you asked these questions, and what was is there something you could say was the catalyst to say yes, I need to take this change. It's important for me.
In the end, I felt that I need to change the environment because it was not energizing me enough. A little bit like
Get it.
Jurgen Klopp now mentioning in Manchester, I have to go because I don't have enough energy. I think this was part of the story as well. And another part was also the curiosity to say, I want to see more in my professional life than just one company. A lot of my colleagues stayed 40 years with the same company, and also did great with it. But let's say that my curiosity to see something new, to try something out, and of course, as an entrepreneur, you have a higher degree of freedom in trying new things. This was also something that was pushing me to this change.
I think we are touching upon here the next topic we are going to talk about, which is how do you know that is coming from your heart, but not from people's expectations, cultural expectations, parents' expectations, and so on and so on. It seems to me that, of course, in your life you've been through many transitions, and your transitions were substantial. I mean, there are transitions and transitions, but for you that was a big changes you're doing in your life. And I suspect that there is something around your heart there, so you're following something. But how do you know that? I mean, it's a great question to ask yourself, right? How do I know that it's me, it's my heart, it's my soul which wants that?
That's a difficult question because I'm also not so sure if the heart should be the one and only instance in life to decide what you are doing.
Yeah.
Because we all know sometimes we have strange feelings, and we should better not follow them. So I think there's also a way, let's say, in educating your heart, in seeing where you want to go. I think that's part of the benefits of having a brain, that you also can challenge yourself in what you're feeling. If you think, so you have your feelings, you cannot change your feelings, but if you have to want to nurture this with thoughts, and if you think it's useful or not, this is something that you have to do. And I think it's the same with social expectations and so on. Expectations per se, or social norms per se, I don't think are wrong, because usually there's the history of humanity to say, okay, if you do specific things, it makes it easier to live together with other people. But still, you have to check what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and where is the place where you can really have impact. So for me, for instance, a lot of people thought I should become a professor. So this was a lot of. So I think I could do. I said I did my PhD and was also summa cum laude. So let's say from this perspective, I could for sure become a professor. But this was, and I heard it a lot of time. Why do you want to go to business? It's a lot of work. Become professor is and people think it's easier. I don't think so, but a lot of people that are not professors think it's easier. Um, and so this was a lot of, let's say, input which I deliberately not ignored, but where my decision was I want to see impact. I want to do something, and I believe
Practically,
that,
like more.
yeah,
What
I
do you
believe
mean? Yeah.
so.
When do you say practic? This thing. Sorry that of the interruption, but it's like there was something there which directed you to not become professor, right? There was something there in you, and I think that's what we are touching. That's the place we want to be here, right? So you can call it heart, you can call it intuition, you can call it soul, you can call it whatever you want to call it, you know. But definitely there is something there which indicates you, right? This is my path, right? And in this case, it told you I'm not going to listen to people who said their logical thing is to do that, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So you,
Yeah,
yeah.
as said, I think that's something where for me the push to say, okay, I want to have impact with technology. I don't just want to write papers that are read by 10 or 50 or whatever people, but no impact in real life. So from the digitization projects that I have done in different setups, um, there I felt I can achieve more in this, and I think it's more rewarding. Which doesn't mean that I don't like the other part as well. So I'm expert for bachelor thesis at the Hochschule Lucerne and see each semester 5 people that are presenting their bachelor thesis, and I help with the grading of this. So there's also a part. So the observation from outside was not wrong that I also like to do this, but I said it was for me the process to say, in general, I feel I can have more impact and can get more reward from the results out for me than in the other profession.
Yeah, and working here is you're aligning with your values, right? You have certain values, like for example, impact or reward, whatever it's the value you have, which is dear to you. You when you know them more, that's what I'm getting from what you say. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but you have these values, you are aware of them, you know them, and you know that whenever opportunity comes in your way, you can be aligned with them or not. And when you know that you're not aligned, you're coming back on track when you align yourself with them. You want more impact, you go out there and you do it. And for you to harness the value of impact, what you do right now is way more effective than to
Exactly.
become a professor,
Yeah,
right?
that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm interested in something called fear. I know that everyone is interested in this thing, and tell me, in this path of yours, um, and following the dreams, aligning with your values, and doing what you love, what are the main fears you are facing, and how do you overcome them? You might still face them, maybe you face them and you learn how to do that, but yeah, tell me more about this.
Um, it's a little bit tricky to classify it because you have some peers that let's say belong kind to the personality, and some that are more day-to-day operations. So obviously in working as an entrepreneur, for sure you have the fear that you don't get enough to do. There's a risk of failure in everything what you do in business and stuff like this. If you have a little bit trait towards perfectionism, then you have the fear it's not good enough. Sometimes people don't even see why you should consider something that you have delivered not good enough. But as said, if you have some their other expectations to you, that can also stress you to some extent. And I think some of the fears you have to accept, you have to overcome. I think it's also something. Not all fears are rational. Some are. So if you are where nature tells you be careful. So if there is a snake and you have fear of, then nature tells you better stay away because the snake can bite you, whatever. And then there are some fears that are totally irrational, and you maybe even know it, but you can't do so much about it. So I love, for instance, hiking in the mountains, but not climbing, because this is something where I get the fear of falling down, and it's totally irrational, because you stay on your path if it's on a plain meadow. But you will also stay on your path if it's going down beside you 100 meters or something like this. So no fear, no rational fear, but you feel it with your body that doesn't like it, and so on. And then you can decide: do you want to push it and to work there, or do you want to accept, okay, this is maybe not something for me. I can do some other things in my spare time.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a choice. In the moment when you face something, as I understand your concept is around, okay, which are the rational, real fears which I have, and I need to listen to the fear when it comes to them. And there are some irrational fears, which actually I made up, and I want to decide, actually, do I want to follow them or not? Here you have a choice. Should I follow this irrational fear which I created, or no? So I'm interested when you decide, because I'm sure that you're doing that maybe sometimes on a daily basis, to actually not listen to that irrational fear. Do you have some process? Do you have something you do, or you just go and do it? How do you handle irrational fears you want to overcome?
Yeah, it's a constant battle, I have to admit. So I don't have the silver bullet for this. But in the end, it's just doing. So you have to go start. Usually, you have then this reasoning spirit where you think all night, does it make sense or not, and then you come to a conclusion, and you start again and again and again, and you will only get rid of this if you start doing, or you decide deliberately, I don't do something there because it's not the time, it's not worth whatever.
Yeah, great. So you just stay with the fear, as I understand, and through the process of reasoning, you're overcoming it and doing it if you decide to do that.
Exactly, and you also have, of course, a track record. So if you have a certain fear and you see 3-4 times it's working, if you're doing it, then it gets easier every time.
Yeah, this is like the behavioral approach. I don't know if you heard about it, but the behavioral approach, which is, for example, if you're afraid of spiders, you slowly expose yourself to spiders, and at some point you just overcome the fear, right? So it's kind of this kind of approach we're sharing right now, as I understand.
Yeah.
Talk to me about self-doubt, and because I believe that this is the single most important thing we need to overcome in order to achieve things in our life, because self-doubt is sometimes detrimental to our progress and achievements. So do you face it often, and how do you handle that?
Yeah, so let's come back to my entrepreneurial activities here. Obviously, there's a self-doubt. Am I too ambitious? Should I really do this or not? Should I not have stayed in corporate or become a professor, whatever? So this is something that you have. I think it's a delicate balance that you have. So you need to nurture self-esteem, and you should also know what you can do and what you have achieved. But you have to be careful not to flip to the other side and becoming arrogant or ignorant to some of the things. So this is something that is also cultural driven. So let's say a little bit the cultural difference between Switzerland and Germany. So most Swiss people say the Germans are very arrogant because they're speaking very fast High German, and for Swiss people this is something like a foreign language because they learn it in school but don't use it in daily life. But also some other things. So you have also to see to whom you're talking to. If you want to reach people, you also have to see it's not just you and how you are dealing with you. It's also how you are dealing in a group if you want to achieve something. And for me, the topic is if you feel that you are over challenged or think you will not make it and so on, it's always good to go back a step to think about what have you achieved. Also, what are things that you can be grateful for. So I think it's a great power also in remembering this. So and it sounds a little bit esoteric to say, okay, you have to practice gratitude and something like this. But in the end, it's a power. It's a power of thoughts. We talked about thoughts and feelings in the beginning. So the feeling of you might not be able to do this, you cannot change. But what you make out in thoughts, if you have positive thoughts and if you nurture positive thoughts, it gives you also energies. At least that's my experience. So apart from everything what science is saying and arguing about it, for me this works. So you have so if I see I have to motivate myself, then I go back. I think about all the things that I could achieve. Also, of course, about the challenges that I had, but that I could deal with in the past, and then create from this kind of positive momentum for the future.
Thoughts are create our creative power as human being. I totally agree with you. Our greatest power is hidden in thoughts, and if you learn how to actually um, get aware, transform, and create thoughts, because we are actually doing it all the time, but create it consciously, that's changing everything. And I mean, this famous idea that we have over 70,000 thoughts a day, but most of them are the same. It's a very common thing people say, but who actually really gets it for serious and trying to actually make something about it, right? Because if you go there, and I'm not saying that you're gonna go through every single thought you go through the day, but maybe that's impossible. But becoming way more aware actually on what you're thinking, what are your beliefs, what are your thoughts, then you can shift all of that, and you create different type of energy. And every exercise you share, like gratitude a journal, like accomplishment journal, all of this, they help you to raise that vibration in your head, and then you're different vibration. You feel different things. You make different choices. You take different actions, and you create different results. So simple, but people don't want to believe that that's simple. It's interesting to say that, but thank you for sharing all of that, because I think one of the before I ask you the last question, is one of the greatest um, gifts you have, Enrico. I haven't told you that, I think, is that as an IT person, you are way more attuned to your thoughts and your feelings than normal people there, and I think you're a jewel for this specific type of people because you can relate there and you also can help them to go to the next level. And I think that's very important to know about yourself. I know that maybe you know it, but I love saying that things to people because for me it's obvious. I've spoken to people in IT industry, not everyone of course, but majority of people. And it's very hard to talk about feelings there. It's very hard to talk about thoughts there. This this area in general is very abstract for them. But um, you, someone who actually been in that industry for a while, connecting to them, I think you are the gate. You might be the gate for these people to go there because they need that.
Thank you, Jimmy. Great
Yeah,
feedback.
yeah, you're welcome. Uh, and the last thing we're gonna talk about is the one key. I know it's very hard sometimes to answer that question, but if there is one key, one thing you believe people can focus on, start doing from today, and that is going to help them to connect to and to follow their dreams, what would be that key?
Yeah, as you said, it's difficult to reduce it to one key. I think one point is don't give up. If you are failing with something, if you are falling, stand up again, try again. Don't get frustrated. Sounds so easy. It's not easy, but I think that's the most important thing. If you look at a lot of successful people and their stories, there is always some things that went wrong for whatever reason. But what we see from these people, they did not give up and hiding from the world, they tried again and maybe again and again and again. So I think that's something that is important. And I think you can only do it if you have also the right people around you. If you have friends you can relate to and so on. If you try to do everything alone, then soon your energy will be over. You have blind spots where nobody is telling you that you have a problem. So that's why I think yes, you have to one key, don't give up. Second key, um, um, invest in relationships, connect with the right people, in a sense that you can um, help you out each other when necessary. And you also know that if you have an issue, there is somebody you can call. You might not want to do it, so this is also something where, let's say, you want not to say even to your friends, I have a problem, but if you know if it's worse, if it's bad enough, then you can call somebody. This gives you also a peace of mind to move forward.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. And I would say that that's an amazing advice when you said I don't give up on people. I want to really take that for serious because it sounds like a lot of people say I don't give up, like everywhere, like don't give up, like and stuff. But what you said was very important, Enrico, and I'm gonna just add on that that the greatest advice I received from a fellow coach when I was in a moment when I was really feeling that should I continue with coaching was just stay in the game. That was the only advice this woman gave me. Just stay in the game long enough. Because beautiful things are coming when you just stay in the game. Got a very simplified way. Of course, you do stuff there, but I think that's actually the essence, like you said. stay in the game, fall down, give up, not give up, but get up and continue, and you are gonna eventually find your way. And that's incredibly important advice. Listen to that recording again, guys, and I'm sure that you're gonna get so many golden bullets from here, golden nuggets, and use them to actually create the life of your dreams. Thank you, Enrico. Thank you for your wisdom today.
Thank you, Dimi. My pleasure.